There is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch a deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions are causing me suspicion, but there's no proof. In the paper today tells a warrant of waste, but you turn right over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. Walking again to the beat of the drum, and I'm counting the steps to the door of your heart. Only shadows ahead, barely clearing the roof. Get to know the feeling of liberation and relief. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da da da. Oh, let the wind don't
Well, welcome here to another Wednesday evening at Restore UK Live. And let me just line my camera up a bit, or probably back the other way. But anyway, yes, we've had a bit of a holiday, all refreshed and all ready to go, and all ready to pick up the pieces where we left off just before the holidays. And you know what pieces there is to pick up, because there's so many pieces here right across the United Kingdom. And why? That's because of our weak-willed politicians who fail time and time again to get up off their knees and mount a meaningful, proactive fight back in a way that defends, protects and enhances British Unionism here right across the United Kingdom, and most importantly and most in particularly in Northern Ireland as we speak. Sorry about that. Let me get my camera lined up. You got to excuse me. Once you leave for a week, you come back, and there's a few things that you have to sort of get right. But we'll get it right as we go along. So, people, what we're going to do this evening is that we're going to start us off by talking about that song that we just played. When the world comes in to build a wall between us, we must never let them win. Well, the song says that they won't win. But we, as people, we as British Unionists here in Northern Ireland, when the world comes in to build a wall between us, we must never let them win. And we must never permit our politicians to roll with this and to permit the circumstances whereby that wall can continue to exist. And what is that wall that you ask? That wall is the border in the North Channel. The very fact that we are separated here in Northern Ireland from our brothers and sisters in England, Scotland, and Wales, and in a way that if we're not very careful, if we don't mount a challenge against the people that would implement the protocol, against the people that would insist that the protocol would stay in place, against the constitutional changing protocol, which is in place and will ultimately break up the United Kingdom, if we don't mount that challenge and if we don't insist that our politicians get up off their knees and mount a meaningful, proactive fight back against this protocol, well, people, I'll not have it in my conscience for my children and my children's children to say, well, you didn't do what you should have done when it was that you could have done it. I remember listening to a Dublin pastor not too long ago when we were interviewing him, and he was talking about Germany, about Nazi Germany and the rise of Hitler. And he was talking about a man called Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a Christian in Nazi Germany. And he says that there was a time when the church could have stood up and they didn't. Then there was a time when the church needed to stand up and they couldn't, Let me know. My camera seems to be frozen this evening. I don't know what's happening, but please let me know if we are still live in terms of our sound. If people can let me know if our sound is live, please. Yeah, look, again, I'm just going to talk on, so I am, and if the people on the live chat can let me know if the sound is live, whilst we try to rectify what it is that's happening in terms of our frozen screen. That's good. Thank you very much, Yvonne. At least people hears me. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do whilst I try to fix my camera is that I'm going to get a little video clip. And I'm going to play a video clip, and I'm going to let you hear Mary again. Just bear with me. People, I don't know what has happened this evening, but there we go. The live stream, it had stopped, and now all of a sudden it's back and it's going again. So what we're going to do is, right, here we go. We're going to start off by playing a little video clip. And in this little video clip, I would like you to watch what it is that Mary Lou and what Michelle O'Neill would be saying. We seem to be freezing up this evening for some reason or other. I don't know the cause of it, but I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it. So just bear with me whilst I look for this little video clip. And again, you've got to accept my apologies. There's a couple of things that's going wrong this evening. Here we go. Just bear with me. I'm just looking for something. Here we go. There's two video clips that I want to play, and they seem to have disappeared from my screen whenever the things froze up there. But here we go again. We're ready to go.
We've just met with the Spring Hill families. I don't know if you've seen this pamphlet that they've produced, but it's very good. It sets out the background and what happened to their loved ones. 5 deaths. And as you know, they were awaiting the inquest to happen next year. And now, like all of the other families that we've been talking to since the British government set out its proposals for amnesty, these families are distraught and frankly very, very angry at any suggestion that 49 years later, going into 50 years later, that they would be still left with no answers, and that the British government that Boris Johnson in particular, but also Brandon Lewis, would be so brazen as to suggest that there couldn't be not alone criminal investigations, any civil actions or indeed inquests. It's absolutely outrageous.
What the British government are doing here is very clear for all to see. It's about covering up what they did here in Ireland. It's about covering up what they did to Irish citizens, and it goes right to the highest echelons of political life in Whitehall around who directed state collusion, who directed shoot to kill, who directed the British soldiers in the streets here and British forces in the streets here over many, many decades, and that's what they're trying to cover up.
The families in particular want a very strong pushback, and that is what the British government will get. So if they are intent on an amnesty, they need to be on guard, because there will be and there is a fight back against this, because it's wrong. It's wrong. They know it's wrong, but such is their determination to cover their tracks, as Michelle has said, here in Ireland. But Brandon Lewis is well aware that Sinn Fein won't facilitate and Sinn Fein won't give him cover for his amnesty proposal. We reject it outright and emphatically.
Okay, people, you might have heard that. And what we're going to do is that I've just had a message actually sent to me there also by one of our team in the background. And he can't actually go live at the moment. And yes, someone says that it might be something to do with the weather. Thank you very much for coming along. The live chat, it's good. The numbers are good across the various screens. Tonight we're going out to, I forgot to say this at the very, very start. We're going out to Restore UK on Facebook. We're also going out to the British Unionist People's Voice on Facebook, and we're going out to the British Unionist People's Voice, Restore UK on YouTube. And from the Restore UK platform, and also from the British Unionist People's Voice on Facebook, from there you can share this stream, share it as far and wide as possible. The numbers are high across the platforms, and we can only ask for more and more people to come along. And if anyone that you think that it needs to hear this stream, well, what I would ask you to do is to tag people in and ask them to come along. And if you're new to the screen, if you give us a like, if you give us a love, if you give us a share, if you tag your friends, that way we can reach as many people as humanly possible. So let's move on. I'll let you hear that little video clip. And what I want to do is that I want to now go in and I want to play that little video clip again. But this time what I want to do is that I want to dissect it, and I want to point out the words from these people, from these, now they're ladies, but let's call them hypocrites, absolute and utter hypocrites. And I'll explain why as we go along. So let's just play this, and what we'll do is we'll dissect it as it goes along.
We've just met with the Spring Hill families. I don't know if you've seen this pamphlet that they've produced, but it's very good. It sets out the background and what happened to their loved ones. 5 deaths, and as you know, they were awaiting the inquest to happen next year. And now, like all of the other families that we've been talking to since the British government set out its proposals for amnesty, these families are distraught and frankly very, very angry at any suggestion that 49 years later, going into 50 years later, that they would be still left with no answers, and that the British government, that Boris Johnson in particular, but also Brandon Lewis, would be so brazen as to suggest that there couldn't be not alone criminal investigations, any civil actions or indeed inquests. It's absolutely outrageous.
What the British government are doing here is very clear for all to see. It's about covering up what they did here in Ireland. It's about covering up what they did to Irish citizens, and it goes right to the highest echelons of political life in Whitehall around who directed state collusion, who directed shoot to kill, who directed the British soldiers in the streets here and British forces in the streets here over many, many decades, and that's what they're trying to cover up.
Right, it's all about who directed state cover-up, state collusion, who directed the British forces whenever they were attacking people. And you would think, to listen to Michelle there, that the British people, the British soldiers, the armed forces. They are the only people that kill people here in Northern Ireland. And yes, we're not here to say that people didn't lose their lives, but let's take one case in particular. Let's think about Loughgall. You know, is this the type of thing that Michelle and Mary Lou is trying to insist that that has an inquest, that the people that let's remember what happened. Let's just lay this out there. Okay, so there was armed IRA people. They were going along to a police station, and where they were going to murder innocent RUC officers and anyone else that was there. They wouldn't have cared whether there was people in that Loughgall police station at the time. And as they went armed to the teeth, as they went with a bomb and a bucket of a JCB digger, well, what happened to them is that, yeah, they were caught. They were caught armed. They were caught in this war that they talk about. They were caught whilst they were going out to murder innocent people. And what happened in that war? Well, the terrorists, in this case, they actually lost their lives. Now, remember that and just listen to these people. Now, they talk about they're talking about the Ballymurphy families. They're talking about what they say, or what Mary Lou said was the Spring Hill families. They talk about a little leaflet they produced there. And then we remember actually, you know, understanding what that it was that was happening in the Ballymurphy area around the time of what they call the Ballymurphy massacre. What was happening? Well, didn't we produce a video just a few weeks ago when we had Jerry Adams talking about the hen patrols? Who were the hen patrols? The hen patrols were women in the Ballymurphy area who had guns, who were out firing at the British soldiers, who were being trained to plant bombs, who were being trained to murder and maim innocent men, women, and children. And yet no one who were victims of those people, they will never, ever, ever receive justice. And why? That's because the IRA, the group that Michelle and Mary Lou here, the group that they belong to, the group that they champion their cause, the group that they consistently glorify, and you know, and they celebrate the murder and the murderous campaign that these people were involved in. Those people will never get justice. Yet what they want to hold Boris Johnson from giving an amnesty to victims right across the board, or an amnesty to people who done things right across the board. The reason why that they want to stop that is because they want British soldiers in court. They want, you know, RUC men in court. They want UDR men in court. They want loyalist paramilitaries in court at a time when the only people in this entire equation, in this entire mess that happened right across all those years in Northern Ireland, the only people with immunity from prosecution are the same IRA that these people glorify, that these people consistently celebrate in their murder. And once I finish this clip, what we're going to do is we're going to play another clip from Mary Lou McDonald, and let's hear what Mary Lou McDonald had to say about these same IRA people who, let's remember, in 1972, they planted a bomb in Abercorn Square in Strabane. There was a 5-month-old baby in a pram. His mother had been moved off the scene, and as that bomb blast went off, it charred that poor 5-month-old baby with glass, killing that baby outright. And yet these people, they said, well, Mary Lou McDonald said, that we will never let those people that carried out that type of murder be criminalised. So what I'm going to do this evening is that I'm going to, as usual, take you on a slight journey, and we're going to listen to some of these people, and we're going to ask a real question. Who writes their script? And are they going to be able to get away with what it is that they're pushing? Just remember, just from a few weeks ago, that Michelle O'Neill said, well, if we want something done, we will walk around the DUP. And what we will do is that we'll go to the British government. And the British government normally implement things, no matter how unpalatable, over the heads of British unionist politicians. And why? Is because that it was never nipped in the bud in the first place. And successive years of successive leaderships, well, they never got up off their knees, and they never went toe-to-toe with these people, ensuring that feeding this crocodile would never happen. Let's play on and let's dissect some more.
The families in particular want a very strong pushback, and that is what the British government will get. So if they are intent on an amnesty, they need to be on guard, because there will be and there is a fight back against this, because it's wrong.
So there's Mary Lou McDonald just suggesting, well, if the British government don't do what we want, if they don't leave the IRA with the only people with an amnesty in this entire equation, if they don't leave the same IRA with immunity from prosecution, and by extension, everyone else has to be prosecuted, everyone else has to be trailed through the courts, everyone else has to face justice, or face the criminal courts for the things that happened in this dirty war over all of those years, since 1969 going forward. You know what they said? Well, if they don't get their way, well, there's going to be a fight back. There's going to be a fight back, and the families have said that there's going to be a fight back, and it looks like Sinn Fein are going to join in with that fight back. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to move on, and then we're going to listen some more to what this hypocrite Mary Lou had to say.
It's wrong. They know it's wrong, but such is their determination to cover their tracks, as Michelle has said here in Ireland. But Brandon Lewis is well aware that Sinn Fein won't facilitate, and Sinn Fein won't give him cover for his amnesty proposal. We reject it outright and emphatically.
So there you go, people. There's Mary Lou rejecting Brandon Lewis's amnesty proposal. She's rejecting it outright and emphatically. And whenever, like, it's serious. And I know that I laugh at the words of that woman, or that hypocrite would be a better terminology used for Mary Lou. But I use those words only because is that the IRA have immunity from prosecution, and whilst they have immunity from prosecution, these people want everything else left open so that they can press on with their cases, so that the legal teams, so that, you know, just a few weeks ago that I showed you, I let you hear that there are 50 cases alone in the Mid-Ulster area, which these people have prepared, locked and ready to go. There's going to be an avalanche of cases if these people are not stopped. So let's hear our own politicians propose how that it is that they're going to deal with these people, because this is totally unacceptable. Do you tell me, I mean, I'm appealing, I'm asking to the live chat, is it ever acceptable that the IRA have immunity from prosecution and everyone else will be taken through the courts? Everyone else will face trial. The likes of Dennis Hutchings would face trial. Whilst, you know, the child killers, which we talked about, the child killers, let's just hear what Mary Lou McDonald had to say about these child killers. And let's remind ourselves of Mary Lou and her hypocrite. You know, just listen to her there. You know, that there can't be an amnesty, but listen to her here when she's defending IRA terrorism, when she's defending the man that she's defending on what I'm about to play is a child murderer. Yeah, murdered a child, blew a child up, blew a child and its dad up. And I don't want to tell you what way that child ended up, because it's not fit for mentioning on this screen. But let's just hear what Mary Lou had to say about these same IRA child murderers and child abusers.
Today, Irish Republicans commemorate the sacrifice and celebrate the lives of our hunger strikers. The 1981 hunger strike was a pivotal moment in Irish history, which saw Republican prisoners thwart British government efforts to criminalise the struggle for a united Ireland. And here in Ireland, Republicans remember with deep pride the sacrifice and the heroism of those who died in the H-blocks. Francis Hughes, Raymond McCreesh, Thomas McElwee. We will not allow them to be criminalised ever. 10 who took a stand, 10 who could not be broken, 10 lives cut short, 10 grieving families. Figures who will never be forgotten.
Now, I know that we must sound like a broken record on this screen whenever we talk about these Republican hypocrites. Whenever we hear Mary Lou there, who is the supposed leader of Sinn Fein, but yet not too long ago she told us, she was telling us while she was at Bobby Story's funeral, that she was at the funeral of our leader. What was Bobby Story the leader of? The IRA Army Council, perhaps? Is that who directs Sinn Fein? Do they have a private army? Do they use that private army to threaten the British government? Have they caused the circumstances in this country and right across the United Kingdom whereby that the British government, they do not want the hassle from these people? They do not want more bombs. They don't want more people getting killed. And we know that the same organization killed two people in December of 2016, one in the markets, one in Short Strand. And I keep saying this, but don't let anyone tell you that it was anyone else but the same organization, the same operation that is linked to those that occupy Stormont, the criminal gang headquarters, just off the Upper Newton Arch Road, where they sit and where they destabilise Northern Ireland hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And why do they do that? They do that because there's an appeasement process in place. And because of this appeasement process, well, it's not very often that they ask for something that they don't get. And why is that? That is because of the unwillingness of our own political leaders to stand up against these people, to make a meaningful, proactive fight back against these people and to go to toe with these people in a way that would suggest to anyone, all and sundry, or anybody that is involved in this appeasement process, from the British government, from the Irish government, from those in Irish America, which keep looking in here and keep poking their nose where it doesn't belong. Well, you see, our unionist politicians, our British unionist politicians, those that are in leadership here in Northern Ireland, if they get up off their knees and if they said that we will not be part of this any longer, until such times that there's an even playing field, well, people, you would see the circumstances arise whereby what you see happening now would not happen. Who do I blame? I blame our own mainstream political parties for permitting the circumstances whereby that this has been allowed and permitted to fester. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to play a poem written by Jim Verner, one of our background team, and also something that I put the finishing touches to. And again, for the new people to the screen, I'm looking at the numbers across the screens, and the numbers are looking quite high this evening. So again, I will appeal that if you are new to the screen, please give us a like, please give us a love, please give us a share, please tag your friends into this channel in order that we can reach as many people as humanly possible. So listen to this poem. Listen very, very carefully to the words of this poem, because this poem outlines from the days of the Belfast appeasement until today. And really what it does is it charts the course of why that it is that we find ourselves in the place that we are, and also some solutions for putting things right. Listen to the poem very carefully. Then we're going to come back and we're going to play some more on legacy. And people, if you think that you've seen it all I can say is you haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, the hypocrites, well, they excel as we go along. I can't help but wonder why so many people, they had to die for being British in our own land, murdered by cowards with their evil hand. The IRA crept back to their bed after leaving so many people dead. A soldier, a cop, a father, a son, a woman, a child, just anyone. But the Unionist people, they did not lie down, fought and defended the red hand and the crown. We stood proud, ready and able. The IRA cried to come to the table. The Belfast Agreement, it was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle and lies. The peace is a farce, the guns are still there, and London's afraid of another bomb scare. Appeasement after appeasement, day after day, provosts in government still getting their way. And our two big parties, well, what can I say? They are sitting in Stormont with the IRA. Not listening to the people who put them in place. They ask for support, then they lie to your face. A united unionist party. So many people, they had to die. For being British in our own land, you can never shake a terrorist's hand. Think of our country, the red hand on the crown. Listen to the people, stop letting us down. Our leaders have blown the chance to make things right. The whole of unionism, I mean the people, we must unite. So we reach out again with offer of partnership. No time for politicians hell-bent on dictatorship. No puppets, no lackeys, our people deserve better. We will not be sucked in with promises in letter. Meaningful and proactive is the only game in town. We long for a day when politicians stop letting us down. You have one more chance at putting things right. But this time we demand that you stick to the fight. A roadmap must be drawn, agreed by everyone. No hierarchy, no pulling rank is exactly what must be done. An army of people must be put together with weapons of words, which will remain and abide forever. United we stand, divided we most definitely fall.
So people, before that we move on with the next video clip, what we're going to do is that we're going to just pick up from the live chat here. There's a couple of chats in the live chat, and I was looking through and there's various good chats, but there's three in particular here in a row that I just want to show before that we move on and we play our next video clip. Okay, from Isabel Montgomery, wonder when unionist parties will be doing what these scumbags are doing about all the victims murdered in Northern Ireland, both Protestants and Catholics. Now, again, that I know that there are people on this screen that are Catholics. I know that there are people on this screen that are nationalists. I mean, I can see them when I flick down. I can choose a little option here on the computer screen, and I can tell how many people's looking from each platform. And I also can see from the likes of YouTube that there are friends of mine, even from the south, on board here. So again, just to clarify, and this is for my friends in England also, that wouldn't know enough about this, but let me just explain. And it's important that we talk about what Isabel has put up here. You see, British Unionist political leaders here in Northern Ireland, well, they're not as pushy. They're not as they don't push for justice for the victims of IRA terrorism in the same way that IRA terrorists, the way that they push to have victims, to have IRA victims have what they call justice. Well, it would really be injustice, because in most occasions these people were going out to murder and maim whenever they were shot, as you would have heard me from whenever they went to blow up and to shoot up a police station. Well, the SAS were lying in wait for these people, and they killed them. They shot them to death. That's what they did. That's what they deserved, because they were going out to take innocent life. And yet they run to the European courts. They run to the European Court of Human Rights. And they in this war, they say, well, they could have been taken hostage. People, no one wants to see anyone lose their lives. But these people,
These people, they have absolutely no shame. Whilst they want immunity for prosecution for the terrorists who were carrying out the murder and the mayhem in the first place, the IRA terrorists and terrorism's victims, well, they will never, ever, ever get they will never get justice for what it is that happened. And then, there's many cases that we could mention on this screen. Too many to mention. And the people that you just see there saying that there should not be an amnesty, well, they're saying that so that what they can do is they can agitate in a way that what they can do is they can trail the law enforcers in through courts, and which they have which they have done very, very successfully for many years. And again, this is what Isabel is actually pointing out here. I wonder when our unionist parties will be doing the same as these scumbags being Sinn Fein IRA. Isabel, that is a real serious question. And we're after the holiday period, and we see that our own unionist politicians, a lot of them, they're absent without leave. They've went AWOL. Where are they? No one knows, no one sees them, no one hears them. But we see Sinn Féin on a daily basis spewing their absolute bile on the media. What we want is that we want our own politicians, those that are in leadership within British Unionism. We don't want to have to do this. Ordinary people shouldn't be doing this. It should be those that we elect should be up with their knees and should be mounting a fight back against these hypocrites and against these agitators and against these people that would seek to add insult to the injury of the victims of IRA terrorism. So that's one that I wanted to pop up before that we move on with the next thing. Another one that I want to pop up, their propaganda organization is light years in front of our so-called unionist parties. And what you're saying there, George, is that you're disgusted as a result. And George, I would actually agree with that. I would agree with that. I'm of the belief that what our unionist politicians do is they get their day in, and then they go home and they switch off and they don't think about what they're going to be doing or what they're going to be saying. And in fact, what they aren't mounting a fight back in a meaningful, proactive way, in a way that defends, protects, and enhances British unionism here in Northern Ireland. And what they do is they take the onslaught, and what they do is they continue to defend, to defend, to defend, and to defend. When have you ever seen our British unionist politicians doing things in a meaningful, proactive way? It's been a long time since I've seen that type of fight. Isn't it time that they get up off their knees and they began fighting back? That they began going toe-to-toe with these people? That, how vile is it that these people are permitted to add insult to the injury of their many victims of the IRA terrorism? I'm going to pop up the next one, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move on with the next clip. Does O'Neill know who threw the coffee jar bomb over the wall at Coal Island Police Station? Eddie, and I just seen back there in the screen that what you were suggesting was, and this is it here, there was lots of coffee, but you were saying that, that there was several coffee jar bombs. I just seen one of your live chats there. Here it is here. Let's pop that up, Eddie. John, many times my dad near got killed working in Coal Island Station with coffee jar bombs. They were building the station where the sand was. They threw over the bombs. Well, sure, we all know how that happened, and we all know that happened on a regular basis. And aren't these people? These people have no shame. They're offended by everything and ashamed of absolutely nothing, and they can do what they do with a straight face. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to now look for another little clip. If you just bear with me, we're going to play another little clip, and we're going to dissect this clip. And we're going to dissect this clip in a way that we're going to literally listen to the words of this man. Now, let me just find it, just 2 seconds. I had these both clips all sitting ready on my screen, and for some reason or other, they disappeared whenever the screen froze on me. But here we go. We're just looking through a huge amount of videos here to be able to get this. Here we go. Now, listen to this man. And, would you believe that this man was, Eames Bradley. Who heard about the Eames Bradley talks and the Eames Bradley proposals? Well, let's just hear Dennis Bradley this morning on our BBC.
Bradley, who is, of course, one of the authors of a report into dealing with the legacy of the Troubles, arguably the most extensive report and investigation ever done into that. He co-chaired the consultative group on the past with the former Church of Ireland primate, Dr. Robin Eames. Dennis, good morning.
And I think what happened by the British government, or the presentation of the proposal by the British government within the last week, have actually made the situation worse. Not because everything they said is bad, but because the way they said it and the bias with which they presented it. I mean, it was presented really to a constituency of veterans and the Conservative Party itself rather than to the totality of this issue. But that's the swamp. The real question you're asking me is, how do we get out of this swamp? How do we move forward, and how do we make things which are already very complex and very difficult, how do we make them a little bit better? And I think that the only way of doing that is that we realise now that there is no trust left within this situation. Nobody trusts anybody in this situation, and it is so swampish now that actually what we need is a complete new look. Now, I don't mean something new. What I'm new in the sense of new proposals. The proposals are already drawn up, but what we need to do is to hand it over to people who are completely devoid of any bias within the situation. What we need is a legacy commission of about 3 people of very high quality, completely independent, completely neutral within this situation, of authority which cannot be questioned. I'm talking about something like 3 people chaired probably by somebody like a former president of the United States, that type of quality, that type.
Did I just hear what he said? Okay. So what we need is someone who's neutral. We need someone that can be trusted by everyone. What we need is someone of the, like a former president of the United States, someone of that quality that can't be questioned. It can't be questioned. Did you just hear that? Now let's play on and listen to what he had to say, because we're going to pick that up at the very end of here. And what we're going to do is that we're going to talk about who would trust Bill Clinton, for example, who would trust Hillary Clinton, who would trust Barack Obama. Is this man, as you will see here, I'll pop this up. Trust me, I'm a priest. Dennis Bradley. Dennis Bradley was a former priest. Is he talking with a bias? He said that the British government delivered the solution that they were delivering last week with a complete bias. So we need Bill Clinton, for example, and that honest man. I did not have sexual relationships with that woman. Who remembers that? Do Wild Bill, or maybe Hillary? Maybe you should bring Hillary here. And then I'm going to be talking about, in a wee second, I'm going to be talking about the Belfast Agreement. It was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle and lies. The peace is a farce. Their guns are still there. And London's afraid of another bomb scare. Who remembers even the General John de Chastelain, who overseen the decommissioning of IRA weapons? I don't know, but how was it that some of that Semtex, some of those guns were used in the future? The peace is a farce. Their guns are still there, and London's afraid of another bomb scare. Bill Clinton was heavily involved in the peace process. I can remember a time in 1995 when Bill Clinton stood at the Belfast City Hall in December 1995 at Christmas time. He was turning on the Christmas tree lights, and he was saying that we had to put the past behind us. We had to place the past behind us and all the bitterness and the hatred of the past, and we needed to reach out to the terrorists and embrace them, because peace is a wonderful prize. Blessed be the peacemakers. That's what he said. That's what he said. Now, we later learned in a book that day, whilst he was in Mackey's factory, his advisors were in Clonard Monastery being told that the IRA ceasefire was over. That was in December of 1995. Now, in February of 1996, the IRA let off a bomb in the docklands of London, causing £500 million worth of damage. And that was the point, people. That was the point where what was the potential for a peace process, it became an appeasement process. from that day going forward, and it has never, ever, ever changed since that day to this. Every time that the IRA, they do something like plant that bomb in Docklands, causing £500 million worth of damage, they have to be part of that process. They have to be brought back into the process. And they learned from early days that they could use that type of process to extract as many concessions from the British government as humanly possible. Now, that is exactly what corrupted the Belfast Agreement. That is exactly what corrupted the peace process. Because why? Because Tony Blair, he done under the table deals with the same IRA. And why did he do under the table deals? Well, he done under the table deals because that in order to get the IRA to buy a favor, to buy them and to keep them in the process, what did he do? He gave them immunity from prosecution. He gave them on the run letters. He gave them Queen's pardons. Effectively, people, the IRA was given an amnesty. And this man, this Dennis Bradley, trust me, I'm a priest, Dennis Bradley, he wants us, British Unionists, to trust an American. He wants us to trust Irish America to come in here and to deal with the legacy question. Well, people, we all know the way that the legacy question would be dealt with these people. It would be dealt with in a way that British soldiers would go to jail, that RUC men, for doing their job, for serving and protecting the community, UDR men, they would go to jail. Just listen to what this man was suggesting. And he was calling the British government bias in what they were putting forward last week. But just listen to him. And who was it that concocted this with Dennis Bradley? It was a man called Robin Eames, who was a so-called leader of the four main churches here. I wouldn't trust these people as far as I could throw them. Any of them. Absolutely any of them. So let's just listen. Let's just listen to this man proposing what it is that he thinks that would solve the problem here in Northern Ireland.
Level, who will actually take all the proposals that are already on the table, take all the work that's already been done over the last 10 years or so, and actually bring it to an end over the next 5 years. And when I say bring it to an end, provide all the information, all the issues that need to be presented to victims and to the issues itself, and to take control of this situation in the sense that they have complete access to all the files, all the records, and all the people who are prepared to actually approach them and give them whatever other information they have.
So, Mr. Bradley here, trust me, I'm a priest, Dennis Bradley. He wants someone from the American government, someone from Irish America, to come here and have access to all the files, all the British government files, but the IRA don't have files. And in a way that would feed into Mary Lou's hands, that would feed into Michelle O'Neill's hands, that would create the circumstances whereby that the only people that would be facing injustice, complete injustice, would be those that gave themselves to stand between warring factions, to stand between terrorism, IRA terrorism, and a sense of normality for the people here in Northern Ireland. This man, trust me, I'm a priest, Dennis Bradley, he is proposing that there's open access to all files belonging to the British government, and there's no open access to the IRA. Isn't the guns that were involved in things, aren't they decommissioned? Aren't those forensics away, lost and gone forever? Haven't the IRA got on the run letters, Queen's pardons, effectively an amnesty? Do you ever think that anyone linked to the Gerry Adams conglomerate of Sinn Fein, which sits in Stormont, which is linked to the IRA, which killed 2 people in 2015, do you ever think that any of those people will ever be charged for anything that they ever done, that they would ever face justice for anything that they have ever done? Do you ever think that will happen? Ask yourself that question, because the answer to that question is absolutely not. So why should everyone else be trailed through the courts? People, what these people are looking, they're looking for the mechanisms, they're looking for the tools, they're looking for their destabilising bag of tools to destabilise Northern Ireland to an unworkable situation. That's what they're looking for. And they're all in it together. Let's play some more.
Core proposal was in fact an international tribunal of commissioners, 3 people who would deal with all those very difficult and very complex issues, who would in fact come in under primary legislation both in the Dáil and in Westminster, who would give them complete power to actually deal with this, so that you put some trust back into the situation and that they allow them over about a 5-year period to do as much good work as can possibly be done.
And that involves then, let me just be clear with you though, Dennis Bradley, that is to include both then a criminal justice process where that can happen, but also truth recovery process, to not rule out the criminal justice side of things, basically, if evidence merits.
It is quite clear now that that cannot be ruled out. Mm-hmm. But it is also quite clear that the number of times that will happen will be very, very, very limited. And as the years go on, that will become even more so. But
who decides?
The people who decide that ultimately has to be the DPP. But how cases are presented to the DPP and what cases are presented to the DPP has to be by this particular tribunal.
So let me get this straight. You know, those that cannot be trusted. What did he say? Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. Okay? Let's remind ourselves of a few things. Which they have done over the years. Let's finish this and then we'll go into that. But what he's saying is that that there only some cases will go through the courts, and who will decide? Well, the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, or the PPS, the Public Prosecution Service, which is known as. They will decide which cases, who gets justice or injustice, and who doesn't. People, I'm reminded of the words of a song as I listen to this, that the dice is loaded, and the good guys, well, they will ultimately lose under this system. And let's just see if this is the type of system that our British Unionist politicians are happy to work within. Let's just see. Let's play some more.
So we're now left with a situation where we're not capable of doing it, and we have to hand it over to an international body, to an independent body.
So who's going to head it up? Is it going to be Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama? Who are you looking at, and why would they want to get involved?
I'm looking at any of those people who have that type of stature and that type of independence, who cannot be pulled down and be told that they're biased or that they're on one side or the other.
Now, excuse me. But Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, we need those type of people, he says, that cannot be pulled down and that cannot be suggested they have bias towards one side or another. Let's remind some people. Barack Obama, let's just start there for a moment, okay? Who remembers the Brexit process? Who remembers Brexit? Who remembers Barack Obama saying that in a trade deal, Britain would be at the back of the queue. There would be no trade deal for the United Kingdom with America. And why? Because he was using his authority, he was using his position to try to suggest that the United Kingdom should not be going alone, should not be protecting their borders, should not be standing in a way that protects the people of the United Kingdom, should not be protecting what it is, what it means to have a nationality, what it means to be British. This is what Barack Obama was sticking his nose into just a few years ago. I mean, these are only some of the things from these globalists, because that's what they are. They have globalization in mind, and they do anything and everything in a way that pushes into place what it is that they are intent on pushing into place. And what it is that they're pushing into place, well, it's not conducive to stability within society. Yet this man says that these people wouldn't have bias. Let me tell you a quick story about Bill Clinton. when Bill Clinton stood here in 1995 at Belfast City Hall. At that time, he says, you've got to put the bitterness and the twisted and the hatred of the past behind you, and you've got to reach out to the other community, and you've got to make amends for all that has happened over the years. Now, what he effectively was doing was he was asking British Unionists here in Northern Ireland to embrace IRA terrorists. I can remember standing on the Shankill Road in 1993, in October of 1993, and watching the aftermath of the Shankill bomb. And, IRA terrorists done that. IRA terrorists killed a man as close as a brother to me in that, along with his partner, his girlfriend, and his young child. And, aside from that, we've seen many, many things happen in the past. Now, were they sorry for what happened? Absolutely not. They didn't take any opportunity to offer an apology or say that this was wrong or this should never have happened. But yet Bill Clinton was wanting us to reach out to these people. Now, for the greater good, a lot of people thought that, the peace process would be worth working within. And a lot of people actually did. Now, I remember as a young man in around that time, 24 years of age, coming 25. And I remember seeing Bill Clinton go from here in Northern Ireland. He went back and he went into America. He was the president at the time. Now, at that time, there was a bomb in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma bomb, it was known as. There was a man called, now let's not get into the man for a moment. Let's tell you what Bill Clinton actually said. So we get back into America and he said that because of this bomb, which killed 140 people, from my recollection, and also it murdered and maimed many, many, many more people. And because of that bomb, he says, we will leave no stone unturned and we will find who is responsible for this bomb. And he did leave no stone unturned. And in fact, they did. They found a man called Timothy McVeigh. And what did they do with Timothy McVeigh for killing American citizens? They put him to death. They killed him by lethal injection. And I remember thinking to myself back then, I wrote a piece, and the piece was titled, "When is a terrorist act an act of terrorism?" Well, when it's on the Shankill Road, it's not an act of terrorism. You've got to embrace the terrorists who done that. But when it's in Oklahoma, we've got to find the terrorists. We've got to put them to death and kill them by lethal injection. Now, that is Bill Clinton in a nutshell. And that is the formation of Bill and Hillary Clinton in a nutshell. I can tell you of another time with those two people, the Enniskillen bomb. We had a lady on our screen just last year, a lady called Aileen Quinton, whose mother was blown up in the Enniskillen bomb. And there was a memorial that was to be put in place to the victims of the Enniskillen bomb. And it was to be placed outside the Clinton Centre on this very site of the Enniskillen bomb. And apparently the Catholic Church, they owned the land in which the memorial was to be placed. And do you know that they refused to put that memorial to those innocent victims at the Clinton Centre? Where was Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton there to say that this has to be remembered, this should be remembered, this can never be forgotten? No, there wasn't a word, there wasn't a murmur. And this is exactly what happens. So how could we trust these people? Just remember, the Belfast Agreement, it was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle and lies. The peace is a farce. The guns are still there. And London's afraid of another bomb scare. People, we could go on and on and on and on with reference to who that he said that we should hand everything to. And the British government should hand all the files to, and they should permit this panel, which you install, to dictate who that it is that gets charged and who that it is that gets justice and who that it is that doesn't get justice and who that it is that gets complete injustice. People, the peace is a farce. Their guns are still there. And need we say any more? Let's just play on at, trust me, I'm a priest, Dennis Bradley.
People who actually will demand that type of respect. That's where the information recovery process has to begin, and that's where it has to find its feet and its foundational ability to actually attract, to also have complete access and primary legislation so that nobody can say people are hiding files from these people.
There we go. There we go. I find it hard not to, take these people up on their bile and their spew. And whenever I see our own British Unionist politicians actually thinking that they could work within such processes, you've got to excuse me. I often wonder, what is in the heads of British Unionist politicians living in Northern Ireland, those that we elect and those that we place in leadership? What is in their heads when they have let this get to this situation? Anyway, what I'm going to do, people, is I'm going to play a little song, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to get a glass of water. I'm a bit croaky. And when I get a glass of water, I'll come back, and we're going to go to the live chat, and we're going to talk some more. So we're going to go on time this evening. We're not staying anywhere beyond 9:30. So I'm going to play a little cover song, another little cover version. We'll go to the live chat. We'll talk to the live chat. So if there's anything that you want discussed, please leave it in the live chat. I have to say, we started off slower than normal. Just looking at the screen here, we've got good numbers at the minute from right across the different platforms. And it's thanks to the people here who have tagged people and again, if you're new to the channel, give us a like, give us a share, give us a love. And we do have a lot of guests in the coming weeks, which is going to come on our screen. And we will be actually discussing them as the days goes on. So here's what we're going to play. Ever since the 1993 going forward period, the Downing Street Declaration, the run-up to the Downing Street Declaration, and this was the run-up to the so-called peace process. The 1994 period, the ceasefires, the IRA ceasefire, the ceasefires by the Loyalists, the talks about talks, which led up to the Belfast Agreement, and then the aftermath of that time. Each and every time that the IRA, that the Republican movement, namely the Republican movement, each and every time that they do something, that they break the law, and then they have to be part of this process, and they're brought back into the process. And then there are our own British Unionist politicians. They play on as if it didn't matter, as if nothing ever matters, nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and they expect us all to sing along like before. Let's just hear this song. Look at the video clip. Listen to the words of this song. This cover song is very symbolic of what has been happening ever since the day that the Clintons and the hypocrites and all these, the Chastelins of this world and all these people from outside, when they come in to pull the wool over people's eyes. People, it's not acceptable. And we're in the position today that we're in. They've squandered the opportunity for real peace in this country because of the corruption, the swindle, and the lies. So nothing ever happens. Nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song. And these politicians, these people, they think that we're all going to return to the start of the song. Or the needle is going to return to the start of the song. And we're all going to sing along like before. But this time we can't let this happen. We have to fight with these people. We have to take these people on toe to toe. We have to expose their hypocrisy, their every word that they utter. Well, our own politicians are not taking them up on the words that they utter. So that's down to people like us, and that's down to people like us with your help. So over to the song. We'll be back in a few moments.
Post office clerks put up signs saying position closed. The secretaries turn off typewriters and put on their coats. and janitors padlock the gates for security guards to patrol. And bachelors phone up their friends for a drink while the married ones turn on a chat show. And they'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Gentlemen, time please, you know we can't serve anymore. Now the traffic lights change to stop when there's nothing to go. And by 5 o'clock everything's dead, and every third car is a cab. And ignorant people sleep in their beds like the dope white mice in the college lab. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Telephone exchanges click while there's nobody there. The Martians could land in the car park and no one would care. And closed-circuit cameras in department stores shoot the same movie every day. And the stars of these films neither died nor get killed, just survive constant action replay. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. Advertise products that nobody needs, while angry from Manchester writes to complain about all the repeats on TV. And computer terminals report some gains on the values of copper and tin, while American businessmen snap up Van Goghs for the price of a hospital wing. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. The needle returns to the start of the song, and we all sing along like before. And nothing ever happens, nothing happens at all. They'll burn down the synagogues at 6 o'clock, and we all go along like before. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow. And we'll all be lonely tonight and lonely tomorrow.
Okay, people, I was just looking through the live chat there and looking at some of the chat and looking at some of the comments that has been made. So something to get over and done with before that we move on. Right, okay, so Restore UK, you'll see this little link on the live chat and it'll say there Ko-fi.com on Restore UK on YouTube, also on the British Unionist People's Voice, same link, Ko-fi.com, and also on Restore UK. So at the other end of that link, what you will find is that you'll find t-shirts. You'll find t-shirts like this, t-shirts like this, which I'm wearing, and I wear different colors each and every time that I come on here. You'll find t-shirts in orange and blues. in whites. And again, here's just a range of colours right across the board. And many people has bought those t-shirts. So at the other end of that link we've just popped up, you can click on that link and you can purchase your t-shirt, and it'll be delivered to you. Now, I know that there was some t-shirts that still has to be delivered, and we're now back on top of things. And for the lady that has to get a different colour of t-shirt, and we know that we got that wrong, that t-shirt, I'm hoping would be with you at the start of next week. It was just the way the holidays was. And again, you know, we're hoping to have the t-shirt delivered to us very soon, and we'll ensure that it's delivered to you. And I think maybe I'll deliver that personally to you. Now, the other thing would be is that on the other side of that link also, you have Operation Banner badges, and also you have Irish Sea, no Irish Sea border badges. And also, as I say, all under that Ko-fi.com link, you'll find our little shop, and you'll be able to purchase those badges. So, and again, it's going to be a very good cause that if you help us in that way. So again, just taking that link down before that we move on, just bear with me. And then what I'm going to do here, people, is that I'm just going to change the link that I have to put up. I'm going to copy this, if you bear with me. And here we go. Paste. Okay. Now, again, on the live chat, people, I'm just going to pop this up again. It's on British Unionist People's Voice. You'll see a PayPal link, and also in Restore UK, you'll see a PayPal link. That's both on Facebook. And again, from the chat, from all the places that it has been shared to this broadcast from those two platforms, you'll also get in the live chat. You'll get those links, PayPal link. And also in Restore UK on YouTube. And again, I tell you what this is about. This is about, you know, you've seen what we did just prior to the holidays. What we did is we were able to purchase banners, and we were able to put the banners out right around this country for free, giving them to communities to put the banners out to basically highlight things that should be highlighted. And let me just basically show you some of the banners here. I'm just going to flip down into... Right, okay. So, I mean, here were some of the banners that we were putting out. You know, boycott all Irish Republic goods, remove the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, know your enemies, boycott all Irish Republic goods, remove the protocol. So what we were able to do is, using the money that we got, that people donated, we were able to buy many of these banners and send them out all around the country. And fair play for the people that actually took those banners. And again, you know, and these banners also, no Irish Sea border, Restore UK, Northern Ireland is British. And here you'll see two handsome gentlemen, myself and Jack Ross. And we'll get another few people, you know, up, because there was many more people that got their pictures taken, gentlemen and ladies. And here you'll see two young ladies also showing off the banner there, as you can see. So again, here's what we're going to ask. We're going to ask that if anyone can afford to put anything into that PayPal link, anything, £1, £2, £5, £10, £100, whatever it is that you can afford, please help us, because what we're going to do after the holidays is that we're now up in our game. We're running some events, and some events they will come to fruition very soon, and we'll be able to talk about them. And also, what we're going to become involved with some events with some people, and also we would like to supply banners for the events. And again, you know, small amounts from everyone makes this easy for us to do. And one of the other things that we want to do, and we will be launching a fundraiser very soon, is that we're wanting to buy professional equipment, in order that what we can be is that we can be mainstream media. We have mainstream media capability, and we can go out and we can do documentaries from within our communities, not just here in Northern Ireland, but here in Northern Ireland and England and Scotland and in Wales. So, you know, we're talking about a United Kingdom-wide push to have Restore UK put on the map, and we can only do this with the help of the people. We don't get any funding. You know, we put as much in as we can through the donations, through selling the badges and selling the t-shirts and anything else that we will be selling. Well, that's what makes it work. So if you can help us in any way, shape or form, please do. And also understand that if you can't help us, I mean, that's okay also. I mean, people understand that, you know, times are hard, times are tough, and only the people that can help us, you know, if you can, you know, small amount, whatever amount that you can afford, please do. Now I'm just going to pop up a few things here from the live chat as we speak. So there's from Jackie Boyle. And Jackie, thank you very much. I know that you put something else in on Monday evening. I really, really appreciate that. You know, it's for your generosity and other people's generosity that we're able to do what we do here at Restore UK. So again, here, Restore flags, I believe, would sell well. Northern Ireland flags are hot potatoes. Yeah, Georgie, absolutely. Jim, let's look into that. You know, let's have a look at what Georgie said. I did say it before the holidays, so let's make that a reality. So, yep, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip through the live chat. My people, I've got to be away here for 9:30. I've things to do. So and I'll tell you what's happened. Actually, my heating's come on, and it's really, really warm, and I'm kind of stuffed up. So I need my nose cleared, and I can't get to my heating. Otherwise, I'll leave this, and this will all be. You can't leave your live stream, as they say. So, right, okay. As I'm just flipping through some of the live chat. Tell you to put it down. This won't work. It hasn't worked. Now, I'm just going to pop this up. Tell the DUP to put it down. This won't work. It hasn't worked. It could never work. Can I just say the Ardennes people are so disgusted at the death of a child in their area. But they do not have but they have a mural to the rat who murdered children on the Shankill, and they hail the rat as a hero. Wake up. Like, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with what you're saying, Wilson. You know, and that is, you know, it's hard to comprehend sometimes how some of these things actually happen. So, like, I want to see our British Unionists. Look, where is our politicians at the minute? Where are they? What are they doing? Do you know the Sinn Feiners? They're making hay whilst the sun shines, and yet our politicians, they are behind the 8 ball. They continuously stay behind the 8 ball. And yes, the UUP and this man Marshall, having joined with them today. Next time we come on the screen, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that, and we're going to show you how inconsistent and how not conducive to being or to saving British unionism that what they are doing actually is. They wanted to be part of the Union, but not the Union of the United Kingdom. They wanted to be part of the European Union. And the European Union wants to destroy nationality, wants to destroy nation state, wants to remove your laws, your borders, wants to change everything, wants to destroy everything that you and me has ever believed in. I don't know how that you can effectively join the other team to score goals against yourself. And that's what the UUP are doing right now. That's what they're doing. Make no mistake about it. That is exactly what these people are doing. So what we're going to be doing is that we are going to be upping our game after the holidays here. I'm saying after the holidays. It is after the holidays. It begins now. The fight back begins now, you know, onwards and upwards. And we will do this. And it doesn't matter who we have to stand toe-to-toe with. If it's our own politicians, well then, so be it. Glenn, not one loyalist got a letter. That's what we're saying. Not one loyalist got a letter. You're talking about the on-the-runs. You know, that the only people that have immunity from prosecution are Republican terrorists, on-the-run letters and Queen's pardons. Effectively, they have an amnesty, whilst absolutely no one else has an amnesty. Ask yourself a question, why? Excuse me, people. So what I'm going to do, people, is that I'm going to play a little song that I played a few nights ago, and I will flip through the live chat as I've done it. And I want to play this song again because I was amazed at the response. And, you know, this song was written by my son. And I often wonder, you know, I don't know, probably, did I have any influence in what it is that he sees, what it is that he holds the account, and what it is that he suggests that needs fixed? Listen to it yourself. I let you listen to it the other evening. I'm just going to give it another play because, you know, I listened to it a few times, and I have to say, I thought that he'd done very, very well in the first song that he wrote. He performed and he produced. He done the music and the beat and everything else for this song. So let's just hear this song, and then what we're going to come back I'm going to say my goodbyes. If there's anything else that I noticed in the live chat, we will show, and then we'll play ourselves out with, first of all, a song that I played at the start. And, you know, when the world comes in to drive a wall between us, don't dream it's over. That was the title of tonight's screen. And that is in the words of a song which we got a cover version for, and we played at the very, very start. So listen to this song first. Then what we're going to do is we'll come back, we'll say our goodbyes, we will let you hear the Don't Dream It's Over cover version, and then we'll play us out with some patriotic songs. Here we go.
Houses, but down the road a young man feeling like life is worthless. I mean, where the hell from you are you scratching the surface? Let them know that the life there's a purpose. But you're like a service, putting blood in your hands, you're worthless. Seeing these curses, can you hear the pain in these verses be reoccurring? I don't know that this is lurking. You know what, let's get to working. I know how you feel, we got the raw deal. You know the economy's growing, can't feed the family, we need to feel like a sympathy from a persona that can't relate to deal with the struggles. Y'all get expenses paid, never not have to eat a meal. Do you see a society in crisis? This COVID got you blinded, do you overshadow suicide? We can't be like this, because life's priceless. And all shapes and forms, you know life's priceless. Yeah, life's priceless. Life goes on, but with the radio on, take a minute to mourn all the pain in the past, the lingering on. Anxiety got us Papa Brothers, show we gotta move on. Carry this pain on, because days do get better. And life will only get better if you get a chance to pull it together. So let's pull it together. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. You gotta listen, you learn it from the way you come across and interpret. Are we weak-minded? Not the pain and the troubles we inherit. And because you see it's so worthless, you got the nerve to call us a burden. Hope you take all of these words and now you swerve it, try to curb it. Makes we're masks for a flu that is lurking. Social distance keep us apart, divide and conquer and burn. No wonder we feeling so helpless with the way that this is turning. And my stomach is turning. We've had traumatic and sad static and felt pain and a panic. It's caused the life to feel tragic. Do the mathematics. It's a cause for concern over islands registered in these graphics, showing the world our future ain't happy. And to say this sadly, no change in environment with a pandemic happening and the support lacking. Do right by the people, but instead you choose to sit and watch this happen. We can talk about this topic because I'm wanting to drop it. Ain't no stopping these feelings when you cage us up with these lockings. We just longing for some help, but there's a topic y'all seem to be dropping. Good to see my life ain't worth nothing. And these times get harder in different days. It ain't gonna feel like yesterday. I know. But brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. Cause when these times get harder in different ways, it makes you stronger than other days. I know. So brother, let it go, let it go, let it go. So let it go. Aim for the stars, raising the bars. Don't let nobody break you apart. You know what? I told you this from the very start. I can't stop thinking, and I can't stop thinking. What if we could combine instead of hating division? Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Just a society created by politicians causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. And I can't stop thinking, what if we could combine instead of hating division? No hating division. Just because walls built up don't mean we gotta be any different. Any different, no. Just a society created by politicians causing division. All them causing division. How different life would be if this wasn't the way we really live. The way we live.
Just from the live chat there, Eddie Barry, I don't know why I popped this up or not, but love my orange one, John and Jim, and that's the orange t-shirt, just like this here. Eddie, I've seen you wearing it. It's just, I've seen some of the pictures, and yeah, looking good, definitely. And this is one from Lindy Cole Alexander. John or Jim, would it be possible to get some badges to sell for use down here? Absolutely. Some more badges winging their way as from today. Now, we don't know whether we'll have them in time. We may have in time for the Christie event, and if we don't panic. We'll get to them shortly after, and that's a guarantee. And by the way, we do have there's a couple of banners which is heading to you. The banner's ordered and made and ready to be picked up, one of them, and there's another one there. And Isabel Montgomery, if you're listening also, we also need to talk to you about a banner, so I'll be in contact with you very, very soon. Also, if we can just get on down the line here, don't forget Fally, right? Absolutely. He's done a brilliant work. Great job. I'm just going down through here. John, restore flags. I'm looking for some of the live chat people before I close down, because I really shouldn't have been going past 9:30 tonight, but I'm nearly there. So where do we say, John, we must highlight discrimination of the Jewish. Oh, yes, absolutely. There's one from Jim. John, we must highlight discrimination of the Jewish community here, who are being forced out of Northern Ireland by a protocol as kosher meat is not being imported. Jim, yes, that's something definitely that we will make it a point of doing absolutely next week. And Elaine, from Elaine Thompson Hamilton, have you had Alex Easton on yet? I've missed a few nights. No, not yet, Elaine. But coming in the very, very near future. The holiday has actually slowed things up, and with many more guests that we can't talk about right now, because we have to iron out the bits and pieces that we have to do before that we get them on. But some very important guests that are coming on Restore in the very, very near future. So yeah, and that's Jim has already says that no, not yet. He will be on very, very soon. And I'm just going down. Has your son tried putting music to the poem yet? Lindy, the thing is that, what he's going to do is my son, with reference that wrote that music, he's going to start preparing doing an album. I was with him today, and we were talking about it today. And yeah, I think that, and I let lots of people, I mean, I was in England last week, and I was with many African people last week in England. And, they're the type of people that like that type of music. And I let a lot of them hear it, and they all loved it. They says it was very Eminem, and they liked the beat, they liked the way that he put it together. And because of the comments on here last week, you've given him a lot of confidence to go on and to do some more. So yes, he's going to be preparing and doing and putting together and arranging some more. So yes, absolutely. I'm just flipping through the live chat here as I go. Right, okay. And I will say, hiya, Gertie. You're too late. Really say, I didn't see. You say, song fantastic, really growing on me, catchy. There you go, Carl. The more I listen to it, Carl, the more I like it myself. So very thoughtful lyrics. Well done, Georgia. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that there. And Gareth will be very, very happy. So thanks everyone today. Which is to say that they get ready to see. Alex has been on holiday. Okay. So anyway, people, right, what we're going to do is that we're going to end where we started off. This is what, our finish as we mean to go on, let's just say. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. We played a little song at the very, very start. And on this song, it's a song called Don't Dream It's Over. When the world comes in to build a wall between us, don't let them win. Don't dream it's over. This is a song from the 80s, from my recollection. And it's a cover version. It's a man singing a cover version. And we've put some, video to it. And it's taken a while to do the video. So I would encourage everyone to watch the video to understand the implications. And last but not least, before that we move off, don't dream it's over, because it's not over. It never will be over. And, well, that's because British Unionists here in Northern Ireland won't actually let it be over. People, until next time, see you all on Monday.
is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch a deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions are causing me suspicion, but there's no proof. In the paper today, tells a warrant of waste, but you turn right over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. You know that they won't win. To the door of your heart. Only shadows ahead, barely clearing the roof. Get to know the feeling of liberation and relief. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come between us. You know that they won't win. La 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 la. Won't let the wind, don't
just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and indignity, drives a will to keep us British free. Not alone are we on this journey, we're in a land just across the sea. It's a hand that reaches out of friendship, and a bond that's lasted centuries. His hands cross the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is the hand across the sea. Cross the water, reaching out for you and me, for Queen and Ulster and for Scotland, help to keep our loyal people free. Let the cry be no surrender, let no one doubt our loyalty. Reaching out to the brave red hand of Ulster is a hand across the sea. Just across the Irish Sea stirs a heart of loyalty, raising honor and dignity. Drive the will to keep us British free, not alone, only on this journey, or in a land just across the sea. It's a hand that reaches out in friendship, it's the hand across the sea, it's the hand across the sea, it's a hand across the sea.
We didn't join Europe to be swallowed up in some bureaucratic conglomerate where it's Euro this and Euro that and forget about being British. We're British and we're proud of it. Proud of our traditions, proud of our national character,